an unexpected shower come up. And that's just like it does in consciousness. We were talking about the spectrums of consciousness, and as you begin to lift and rise your consciousness level, you get all of a sudden you'll get an unexpected shower of joy, or you'll get an unexpected shower of love that you didn't know was there. You'll get an unexpected shower of peace that you didn't know was there. You'll get some solid awareness that you didn't know was there. And so we have to just keep on raising our consciousness. And as we begin to do that, our mind is going to just increase in its power and its strength, and we'll be able to discover all the technology that we need. We'll be able to discover all the medical answers that we need. We'll be able to discover all of the answers that we need to make this earth flourish. We'll be able to discover all the things that we need to help humanity, all forms of humanity, all to rise into an area of abundance, and all to achieve their dreams, and all to have a satisfying life, a life of joy and peace and happiness. And it's all within our grasp now. This new age is bringing that all about. Oh, I just get so excited about all of the spectrums. That's just been the history of my life, so to speak, and everyone, I think, to a certain extent, is that you discover one little thing in the spectrum, and then a few years goes by, and you discover another one, and another one, and another one, until it all comes together for you, and you start realizing how wonderful this universe is, and then you realize that there's more and more and more and more in that spectrum which you still have not become aware of yet, and so you become motivated to become aware of that too, and then your consciousness begins to grow, and it begins to grow, and it begins to grow. You know, you start out understanding a little bit about personal relationships type love, and then you grow into understanding the kind of love that you have for the entire world and all humanity, and your love just continues to grow like that. And you learn as a child a little bit of joy of Christmas and birthdays and things like that. And then as you get a little older, then you learn that there's more and more forms of joy, and higher joys, and joys that'll excite you a lot more. The enjoy of adventure, the enjoy of the scientific method, the enjoy of discovery, the enjoy of learning, the enjoy of going to a wonderful university and gaining a wonderful education, the joy of the spirit of learning. Woodrow Wilson, the former President Woodrow Wilson, taught us that you could gain a spirit of learning that would make all learning a joy. It'd make it all a great adventure to you if you took time to raise your consciousness to gain that spirit of learning. Then that spirit of learning would continually inspire you and work with you and be synergistic with your mind to cause you to be able to have as it were, a dry sponge that would just soak in all knowledge. Getting that dry sponge in our mind that is just totally dry and just pulls in all the water of learning. We have to get to that point so that we can enjoy learning, and every single thing, every single new word, every single new types of technology, every single type of science, every single type of math, everything in it, engineering, architecture, and all. We just draw that to us because we've got a dry sponge, and we can get that same way in consciousness where we draw love, and where we draw joy, and where we draw peace and happiness, and where we enjoy abundance. We can not as some express it, magnetize your mind for abundance, but you can also obtain. You look at that like a dry sponge that draws in abundance, because your mind is just becomes fertile, and it becomes it gains a drawing power. It gains a magnetic power. It becomes a center of gravity that will draw in all abundance and all production and all ability and all initiative ability and all managerial ability and all ability to entrepreneurial ability, any kind of ability that you need to provide abundance in your life. You can dry the sponge of your inner self to begin to draw and pull all of that in. And so it's just a marvelous thing when we think about how that lifted what all raising our consciousness will do for us. Raising our consciousness will increase our spirit of learning and our motivation to learn. Raising our consciousness will increase our motivation to love everyone in the world. It'll increase our motivation to bring this entire globe together in universal brotherhood. Increasing consciousness will cause us to develop leadership ability, which the so great leadership that will take care of all the problems in and around us, and all of the problems in the nation, all the problems in the world, as we begin to gain that leadership ability, that great leadership ability that comes with a rising consciousness. And so we need to just get the scientific spirit of discovery about consciousness today, and begin to decide that, hey, I'm going to just get down here and begin to discover what all is in my available to my consciousness, what all is in this universe. Look out across that spectrum of light to the ultraviolet light and the infrared light and all the rest of it. And I'm going to look out across that spectrum of consciousness to all the wonderful healing power that is there, and all of the wonderful lifting of resurrecting power that is there, and all the wonderful renewed intelligence and creative ability, and all the new networks that I can create in my mind, and how I can begin to use more of my mental ability, how I can increase my intelligence. All of that is there. We've discovered as we begin to rise consciousness that intelligence can continue to increase and increase. It doesn't have to come to a point where it's measured with an IQ and you label a person in there that IQ the rest of their life, but they can actually increase their intelligence if they're motivated to do so, and especially if you begin to raise your consciousness, your intelligent quotient IQ actually begins to rise with that, as does your creative power. And so everything begins to take off as we raise our consciousness. And so we need to just begin to realize and get excited and get the spirit of adventure about what we can do with our brain and with our mind and with our consciousness. We need to get off of all this thing of I'm just I can only do so much. Oh, I'm just so limited. Oh, I wish I'd like to have more abundance in my life. I'd like to have a satisfying career, but I just wouldn't have the ability to go and get a higher degree that would give me abundance. I just wouldn't have the energy and ability to go and study higher forms of math, or higher forms of science, or higher forms of languages, or higher forms of computer science, or I wouldn't have the ability to go and master technical subjects, engineering subjects, all these kind of different subjects like this, calculus and topography, and or anything that like that you would want to mention, that a person could use to gain more abundance in their life. They could always make the excuse that, well, I just wouldn't be able to master all the intricacy of that, and I just wouldn't be able to sit through classes like that, and learn, sit through lectures, and then go to libraries and do research and write papers and write themes and spend time poring over books. I just don't have the energy for that. I don't have the consciousness for that, and so they're unable to gain the ability that they would need in order to do the things that they would like to do in life. And so all of that is a lower form of consciousness that needs to be raised. We need to raise our consciousness that nothing is to be withheld from us. Nothing is kept from us. People get the idea. That's one of the crazy things, that people get the idea that, there's some secret society out there, or something that is telling people maybe, I guess they're thinking that they're giving them the answers to the questions on the test questions or something, but they're giving them some kind of shortcut that they can just go and get a higher degree or something without any effort, whereas the rest of us that are not privy to those secret societies, well, we can't do that. Our mind can't do that. Or there's a secret society that's giving you some secrets of how to gain abundance, or how to gain happiness, or how to rise above the next person. And so, since I'm not privy to that information, and the other person, if he's up there, if that person is wealthy, you look out here and you say, well, if this person is wealthy and he's got a whole lot of acreage and he's got a fine $50 million house and rooms everywhere and swimming pools everywhere and all that. Oh, he either stole that, or he was privy to some secret information that I'm not privy to, and so that caused him to be able to get that, and if I could only find out what that secret information was, then I'd be able to have that too. And so we think a lot. We keep thinking along those lines all the time, and we as we're young, we do. You find out as you get older. I think people should eventually mature and realize that those things are not like that. Life is not like that. But unfortunately, when you're a teenager, in high school and all, and you're looking forward to going to college and all like that. A lot of times, unfortunately, and even in your 20s and all, you'll think about how well, people will say, well, it's not what you know, but who you know, which is all garbage. It's both. You got to know people, but you got to also know things. You got to also know information. You have to work it all together. It all has to work together. It's not a matter of just finding a person that'll give you a leg up, and then all of a sudden you're wealthy, and all of a sudden you rise up the corporate ladder, and just through accidentally finding the right person, or accidentally getting in the right club, or accidentally getting in the right society. It's a matter of your own personal initiative and consciousness to meditate, get down and meditate upon what will cause my consciousness to rise, and what will increase my initiative, and what will increase my motivation to learn, and how can I gain the spirit of learning, and how can I gain the ability to do these things, and then taking the initiative to do it, and not worrying about somebody else over there that looks like it's got more than I do, or somebody else that's got their college paid for and maybe I don't, or something like that. And just put all those things out of your mind and just tell yourself, I am going to do that thing that I want to do, and no one is going to stop me from doing that. And a lot of times we'll think about something, for instance, if you want to be a person wants to go and be a medical doctor, they want to go and get an MD degree or a DO degree or some other degree like that, and they'll think about, oh yeah, it's a long, grueling task to go and do that, and they'll think about, well, maybe I won't be able to make it, or maybe I won't be able to stand the pressure, and all these kinds of things. Maybe I just don't have the energy, creative ability to go and do those kinds of things, and so they'll rob themselves of the opportunities. To do that, and other people will think, well, I would write some books and all, and I've got ideas that I could put in books, but no, I know they wouldn't be published, and so you rob yourself of the ability of getting that book published. You rob yourself, and you rob the world of the book that you could have produced. You've got the opportunity to have a TV show, or you got the opportunity to have an internet show, or you got the opportunity to have a YouTube channel, or whatever it is, and you just say, oh, well, somebody else can do that, somebody else would be better at that than me. Then you rob yourself of the opportunity, and that's limited consciousness again. And so when we think about this, the spectrums, all these spectrums that are available to us, we need to realize that somewhere in that spectrum there is the energy and the ability. As you just go out through that spectrum from ultraviolet light to visible light and infrared light, and just keep going on the spectrum and get in the spectrums of consciousness and all, and just realize that somewhere in that spectrum of consciousness is the energy and the light and the power and the awareness and the learning, spirit of learning, and the initiative and creative ability and all that for me to be whatever I want to be a political leader, to be a medical person, to be a writer, to be an archaeologist, to be a what a lawyer, so whatever it is that you want to do, architecture, uh, an architect, and just realize that it's all there within that spectrum, and that spectrums that you're not aware of is all it is that's causing you not to be able to do that. Not any person or not any secret that we don't know about.